1,600 Afghan eligible to enter the US as refugees will see their entry blocked. When you basically lend your services to another foreign powers at the cost of your own country, this is what happens. Some of them we have seen, climbing the aircrafts when they were even Bagram Air Base, how people just lost their lives with the hope that US and the West would accommodate for their services rendered to them for 2 decades, almost 2 decades. Or let's say if Pakistan is sending back refugees, especially the illegal ones, to Afghanistan, there's so much of hue and cry by the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and organizations. But here everybody is mum because it is Mr. Trump. Every time Pakistan is blamed for what happened, either because of the Afghans themselves or the occupation of two superpowers. I think this is almost shameless on part of the West and the hypocrisy of United States. Hi, this is Vakar Corvi from TFT Perspective, and briefly I'll cover what is happening to the Afghans who were promised to be settled in US. There are reports that even their tickets were booked, and these are some of those Afghans who cooperated against Taliban with the US occupation forces in Afghanistan. And definitely now if you look at the fourth year, almost in the midway, and so far there is no news about what happens to them, but these were the ones who were, I think their visa and everything was clear, and they were supposed to land up in USA with their families. Some of these Afghans are basically already there, and their kids who are suspended in between Afghanistan and US, mostly in Pakistan, was supposed to go. And now Trump comes with a bombshell. Basically 1,600 Afghan eligible to enter the US as refugees will see their entry blocked under the executive order signed by President Donald Trump. We have seen it, those 100 executive orders, which have, I think, brought a lot of commotion in the international arena. Main thing is that when you are cooperating with the occupation powers, and mainly you are basically working for other power. This applies to everybody, whether they are illegal immigrants now being thrown out from India or from other countries or Central America or Mexico. When you basically lend your services to another foreign powers at the cost of your own country, this is what happens. But unfortunately, if you look on the other side, suppose these guys genuinely felt that they were fighting Taliban, and now they were hopeful that they'll get US citizens. This was promised by the West. Now, if you look at the overall figures are enormous. Actually, US had promised closer to 500,000, and same was true for European Union. Some of them we have seen, climbing the aircrafts when they were even Bagram Air Base, how people just lost their lives with the hope that US and the West would accommodate for their services rendered to them for 2 decades, almost 2 decades. But how they are being discarded is, I think, very, very important. Pakistan has actually borne the brunt, and every time Pakistan is given a pep talk, on human rights, on, let's say, if Pakistan is sending back refugees, especially the illegal ones, to Afghanistan, there's so much of hue and cry by the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and organizations, even I think unfortunately some of the UN organizations look at the refugees. But here everybody is mum because it is Mr. Trump, the emperor of the world, who wants to now even occupy Greenland, Panama, and Canada, and it's, I think, very, very unfortunate. Morally, I think the West is degenerated to a level. We have seen how Elon Musk is now, saluting the Nazi salute, and also trying to support the AFD in Germany. So there's an agenda. Vivek Ramaswamy had to leave, Dodge. Very simple reason. You are not white, Ramaswamy. You can do anything. You can abuse the Muslims. You can, support the genocide in Gaza. But when it comes to, big positions, you have to live like a servant of the whites. Unfortunately, we have seen that Pakistan, which actually holds a record, and I think some of our liberals also close their eyes, and some people who support the Afghans. We also support the Afghan people. Why not? They are our brothers. But when it comes to Pakistan's interest, the terrorism emanating from Afghanistan and the illegal spectrum, the unofficial figures are literally close to 5 million. You go to KP and Balochistan, ask them how many, because UN SCR would give a very different figure. But they are like 1 million illegals, 1 million total Afghans in Pakistan. There were been three waves, right from the Russian occupation, the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan, followed by, so many regime changes. There have been so many violent regime changes every second, third year. And every time Pakistan is blamed for what happened, either because of the Afghans themselves or the occupation of two superpowers in last 4 decades. So this is again 30 years of occupation, almost 28 years, 8 to 9 years by the Soviets, and then followed by 2 decades by the Americans. And we were actually neighbors. When a superpower comes and sits in your neighborhood, you become the neighbor. The way Vietnam suffered and the Southeast Asian countries at that time. So all told, I think this is very, very unfortunate. I don't know who is advising President Trump that you can just sign the orders irrespective of the kids who are going to suffer or the parents. But focusing on this, I think this is the now I would say moral obligation of EU and the Western so-called international community to now house these Afghans. 1,600 of them immediately require, so they should book their flights, and don't blame Pakistan for hosting 5 million Afghans. I think this is almost shameless on part of the West and the hypocrisy of United States and their leadership. That now these guys have been abandoned. But also a lesson for Afghans: be loyal to your country. Thank you very much.